It may not look like it, but just over the crest there is, in my opinion, one of the most impressive deeds that has ever been created in Wurm. It is a deed that up until relatively recently, I owned. Not by the virtue of having put my own blood and sweat and tears into this place, but by the virtue of coincidence, happenstance. It was a deed that I inherited. Looking at this ramp, you get a taste for perhaps what is about to come. A little hint at the incredible amount of work and detail and compulsion that has gone into creating this deed. This, right here, is House of Lords. On either side of House of Lords are these beautiful, symmetrical star gardens, with each sector representing a different type of bush. Both functional and a thing of beauty, this is a beautiful aspect of this deed, the wide open spaces helping to accentuate the foreboding and impressive walls that lie beyond. On the north side of the deed, just outside the village walls, you will find multiple plots of various different trees, giving year-round and easy access to the various different wood types and fruit and other produce. And you can also get a sense of the grandness of the entranceway with its multiple bridges. Heading into the main deed, it is obvious the amount of terraforming and sheer work that went into this. Not only are these walls 2 tiles high, they are done in such a way to accentuate the aesthetics of the wall, as well as being very daunting, each adorned with its own marble brazier at the top. House of Lords was originally created by Lord Lewis, who back in 2020 decided to sell his character and leave the game. I originally reached out to Lord Lewis to record a village showcase video, this exact video, to try and preserve the deed, as he had stated that he was going to be disbanding it. And I thought it would be a crying shame to let this slip into the history books without any kind of documentation. After a few discussions, he decided in the end to instead give me the deed in its entirety, selling most of the valuables from the deed, but the actual village itself became mine to preserve. And over the years, you will have seen this particular village featuring throughout many of my Wurm Online videos and also on my live streams on Twitch. Throughout the deed, you will see impressive terraforming in the form of the dirt walls, multiple colossi flanking, the obelisks lining the park, and at one point in the past, with these walled areas in the front of frame, it was adorned with Hoda statues as well. The bulk of the area of the deed is made up by animal pens. These animal pens have had treasured horses, unicorns, many of which who have found their way to new homes of what was left. The deed itself cost around 20 silver a month upkeep, which I have to admit, after 5 years, has become somewhat cumbersome, and is unfortunately the reason why I've elected to allow the deed to disband. However, I think it is only fair that I ensure that I live up to my end of the bargain to Lord Lewis by documenting the deed in the village showcase that I promised all those years ago. At the very exterior of the deed, there is furthermore enclosed animal pens that at one time were used for bison, sheep, cows, and all throughout you'll notice the deed lined with marble pillars, braziers, all of which, make no mistake, take an incredible amount of effort and time to create. It is a monument and testament to the effort of Lord Lewis and his friends who created this deed. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about the early days and the origins of this deed. In fact, in some aspects, I think it's almost fitting that at least a little bit of that history and that knowledge slips away. Again, on the other side here, more pens used for cows, bison, sheep, all of which who have found their way to new homes. And impressively as well, you'll note that not only has this been terraformed with the dirt, but terraformed with the rock as well. The mine doors leading down into some impressive and majestic mine shafts. These mines lead out to the exterior of the deed. They also lead into large storage caverns with wagons, ovens, forges, kilns, statues, all kinds of unused, unwanted resources and equipment. And at one time, this led down into the boat mines, the dock. Sadly, those days are past and that tunnel has long since collapsed. Back up on the surface, the entire village is overlooked from its perch by the main villa, the actual house of the Lord themselves. At one time, you could imagine this being a center of a hub of activity, players, alts, all buzzing around. Before we head inside the main house, this area over here appears to have been an area that was used for wagons and other storage. And on this wing, we have what was used as access, an ingenious series of bridges built interior, allowing wagons to be brought up into the main house. Speaking of the main house, it is oozing detail and class, with little detail and effort put into every aspect. On the bottom floor, we have a wide open area. And this wide open area is flanked by alcoves for decoration and also storage for horses, resources, wagons, and so much more. This house features one of my favorite little details that I've ever seen in interior decorating that I have remarked on during many times, and that is the use of decoration under these stairwells. And you will see this frequently throughout, with these wooden stairs leading up over trellises, plant pots, and all manner of other little details of decoration. The next floor up was used for the creation of transmutation liquids and storing other bulk resources that weren't needing to be frequently accessed. The next floor up is perhaps one of my favorite. As you merge here, you're greeted by this glorious, cozy altar room where once upon a time a host of priests would have been working to enchant and work things through these chests in order and workflow, which is then adjoined by storage and resources for the actual workshop itself. Not much here remains anymore. I've long since claimed anything of real value. On the other side from the priest room, we have what is the cooking area, with food storage bins, ovens, and also a quaint little dining area and chicken coops. Heading up to the next floor, you'll see again plant pots, color, carpets, variation, decoration everywhere. And give it the feel of being lived in and cared for. And this area, as far as I can tell, didn't really serve any real purpose, but I think demonstrates perhaps the strongest aspect of the design and attention to detail in this building, and indeed inside this deed. An expansive living area now left vacant. And then finally, coming up here to the final levels, we have the towers of the House of Lords, which featured the bedrooms, sleeping quarters for Lord Lewis and the other accounts that lived here at one time in the past. From the top of these towers, you get a majestic view of the areas that we've just looked over. The orchards, the pens, the walls, the towers, the incredible amount of work that has gone into creating this place. We also get our first look at just how foreboding this deed would have been from the ocean as well, because this leads directly to the eastern coast of Independence, and again some truly magnificent examples of terraforming in this game. Leaving the back side of the house, you again get to see just how much work went into the terraforming and creation of this area, but you also start to see some of the unfinished areas of this deed that never got to be completed. Unfortunately, the terraforming project to make a road that ascended the entire way up to the House of Lords was just one such endeavor that never was seen through to fruition. That being said, however, it is still possible to traverse this area if you don't mind taking a few bumps and scrapes along the way. At the bottom of this area, you can see just how much immense terraforming both into the dirt layer but also the rock layer this entire project would have required. Eventually you will reach traversable terrain again on this zigzag switchback, at the bottom of which you find yet another colossi greeting you. And then further down, we have more gardens, parks, areas for parking wagons, living animals, and also another house entirely situated down here. Past the mines. While I don't know exactly what the original plan for this building was, I can definitely imagine it being used for some kind of miniature arena with these overlooking areas, or maybe even a small impelong station with plenty of room for forges, altars, and plenty more. Heading down from the house, we then have the harbor, and already, now that the deed is disbanded, we can see that the dock itself is starting to decay away, the planking deteriorating. We had these beautiful large storage warehouses on either side of the port here. The main dock now left vacant. No ships to be seen. This building here, open plan, open air. And these two to the side, closed off. This building here being able to be used for traveling visitors that needed a bed for the night. No individual rooms, but certainly would have done the trick. And then over here we had the dock building area, the shipbuilding area, where once upon a time Nars, caravels might have been created. Sadly, once again left vacant. Nothing to be found. From down here by the water, looking back up the hill, you can get a bit of a sense of just how foreboding House of Lords is and was. Dominating the skyline and the crest of the hill, there is few deeds that look this impressive. One of my favorite features of this open area trading zone is this oak tree. Inside the house, completely contained. This, in my opinion, is absolutely gorgeous. And something that I definitely want to use in the future on one of my own deeds. Keep the legacy of that inspiration alive. Further along, we have the all-important clay spot, where once upon a time, thousands upon thousands of clay would have been dug to create all of the mortar, forges, furnaces, everything that was required to create what we have just seen. Then finally, one of the most impressive aspects of House of Lords is actually completely hidden from sight, and that is this, the Orient Express. This tunnel and this series of caves takes you directly from the east coast all the way to the interior ocean. The canal completely traversable by boat from end to end. This again has been featured in many of my videos in the past and is something that is used by many players to this day, And given that it is a heritage listed location, hopefully will be continued to be used into the future. And so that is it. That is House of Lords in all of its glory here as of May 2025. Hopefully this video will serve as a documentation and a memorial for what has been one of my favorite deeds in the entire game for a very, very long time. Lord Lewis, if you watch this in the future, I hope that you are satisfied and comforted by the knowledge that this deed was able to continue on for another 5 years after you left the game. Overall, I have many fond memories of this deed. It has inspired me. It has allowed me to make content, and I will miss it greatly. However, a new saga will begin, a new chapter, and the money that I save by not paying upkeep into this will hopefully allow me to move on to some bigger and better projects in the future to share with all of you. If you watched this video and you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more village showcases in the future, let me know. It's been many years now since I last did one of these, and I don't know if it's a format that people enjoy or appreciate. It would be great to be able to sit down and look at some more majestic and inspiring deeds in the game, maybe speak with the owners and creators of them, learn about the history and all of the thought process, work and details that went into them. However, for the time being, I guess just enjoy the ephemeral nature of Wurm, the fact that nothing is forever. Not really. Deeds rise and fall, and you can leave a deep and long-lasting aspect to this game, but only so long as you're in it. Only so long as you maintain what you've built and created. What happens to House of Lords from here, I don't know, but I kind of look forward to seeing what happens next, whether it will just become a ruin gathering dust, a faint ghost of what it once was, or whether potentially in the future it'll be taken over by somebody else entirely, and maybe we'll see it be rebuilt into something greater, something more majestic, and a new piece of Wurm Online's history. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.